Hello and welcome back to round number 10. A halfway point pretty much in our career season with Lotus. We're in Hungary. A track. Very twisty, tight, very grippy, very difficult. It's very technical. In some ways a lot like Monaco except with more space. And no walls directly next to the track. So here we are, Q3, made it in quite easy. Since I figured tyre wears was going to be an issue, I used an option set to get through the first 2 sessions, which wasn't that much of a problem at all. So I have 2 clean sets to set a time with in Q3, if necessary. And then I have a lot of, all clean prime tyres to start using in the race, because pretty much in advance in previous experiences here that I was probably gonna need those tires quite badly. So here we go, already just into 3rd sector now, 3rd man out on track. And into the final couple of corners we go, pit entry on the right side, into 3rd. Slowly on the power, deploying curves, get a boost, a little bit of DRS. And there you go, a 1:19.514, currently 1.3 seconds quicker than Massa until Vettel takes his 2nd place for the moment. But let's see where that time really slots me in.
Pole position.
Quite comfortably ahead of Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, 6/10 ahead of the Ferrari there. Lewis Hamilton in 4th, Nico Rosberg in 5th, Mark Webber 6th, Felipe Massa 7th, then Kimi, Hiko and Sergio Perez round up the top 10. So there you go, the qualifying celebrations in Parc Fermé. And of course there's a long race ahead of us, 70 laps on the Hungarian track. Quite demanding, but at least it'll be dry for the race. It starts off cloudy, and in this sense, I knew the tyre wear, how badly it was going to be. I figured it was going to be a race of position preservation until the car starts coming back to me later on in the race, pretty much like the other races that I've had. Where early on I lacked the pace, and then slowly, especially like around the halfway point, the car slowly starts coming back to me. Here I wanted to show off the times. Q1, there you go, like very quickly, 2 seconds quicker than my teammate. Obviously, but yeah, like I said, I was on options and they were of course setting the tyres on primes. 2nd session I was think 4th, with of course that one option set I used in Q1 as well. And there you go, with a bit more sunshine and no results shown, well, you already know I am in pole position. So here I am, the thing gets even more broken, doesn't matter. And here we are, ready to see the rest of the grid. In a few moments, there you go, Jensen Button in 11th, got beaten by a teammate again. The rest at 12th, Verne 13th, Daniel Ricciardo in 14th, Maldonado 15th, Gutierrez 16th, Sutil in 17th for Force India, then Valtteri Bottas being outclassed by his Maldonado teammates again. Then of course the usual backmarker teams. So there you go. Time to get the tire strategy sorted. So I already thought about it. Gonna start on the options and then probably never again on the options again. Not taking too much risks. Figured the length of the lap is about definitely the limit at which I could go for. 20 laps. And then 21 laps. I'm playing a little bit, see if it's going to work, but decided against it. It wasn't really necessary, so 20 laps, then 21 laps, and then 18 till the end. Having a bit of extra tires left towards the end to help defend is always useful, if necessary. So wasn't probably gonna push like mad, so I went for normal for a bit of an easier time, with slightly less weight in the car, because it does feel a bit beefier.
Ready.
in a 100% race. So here we go. Ready to head out. Another cloud is setting. And there you go. Lining up in pole position, Fernando Alonso. One of my closer competitors, Kimi further back. Vettel in third.
After your podium result last race, let's see if we can do it again
So
this
let's
weekend.
start on standard mixed. Alonso shoots onto my right side. Pretty much covered on the left. I go on the outside and I get to the grippy line. Or a little bit more grip anyway. Alonso's still on the right side, but finally he has to give up. I'm on the inside to go down the first. And into first place. Though I'm never really super good off the line, but I can gain up my mistakes or gain up my poor starts in the first couple of corners. But I need to be cautious and careful while doing that. Be very turkey hairpin with the big curves in the middle, so if you go too much sometimes you ram over them and it can really upset the car. So far, I have to say, with Lotus in the last couple of races, it has been good in practice and qualifying with sometimes a dominating pace, but that never really shines out in the race. Maybe it's doing it wrong with the setup, because in this race it definitely got the gearing all wrong, at least the higher gears. There you go anyway, in first, 7/10 Alonso behind, Hamilton not far behind that as well, and Raikkonen made it up to 4th place, so very good start for my teammate. But I got Alonso all over me, and by the looks of that, the 6/10 advantage does not seem to translate over to the race. Go into the sector again. A bit wide. The power down alright then. Very late entry, there he goes, slam it over the curbs. And really the back end spins out. And a bit too wide again. So not the cleanest lap. Good grip through that ass section there. Into side bits just before the end of the lap. Run a bit wide. Couple of years with him because earlier on, but give myself a good boost onto the straight. Making it just before the 100-meter board, down the first for the moment, and Webber sets the fastest
really
lap.
Going for it. You've just put up a new
1:26.225 for the Australian. So he seems to be on form, but a bit further back. So he's not an immediate concern. Already you could see in the mini-map a few packs are starting to form up. I'm part of the leading pack. Some, I guess it's behind Webber. Another pack is forming. Of course, you've got the back markers a little more further down as well. A bit wide through this egg section, going a bit wide here, but there is some AstroTurf, so not too much. Now that curb I just went back 2 corners ago on the outside. That can catch you out a little bit. If you hit it too much, find out it threw my car off a bit, making the entry to the corner right after very tricky. Nothing I went wide because of it. Might see that happening a few times during the race. So So running into lap 4, I strike back
Need to increase the
the
gap.
125,
You're with 1 second of the car
945.
behind. You will use DRS.
To get the fastest lap time. I'm waiting for the confirmation. There we go.
Nice driving.
Responding,
That was the fastest
trying
lap
to
of the
push.
race.
And we're going to cut ahead just about now. Lap 4, end of lap 4. And I improved the time again. A 125.781.
He may use DRS in an attempt to pass.
Alonso still relatively close by me. And Alonso is indeed slightly quicker than me. Not by much, but he's sticking with me. And I can't seem to shake him. But after Alonso, you don't really see Hamilton anymore. He's just a little speck in the back already. So he's slowly dropping off. Lap 8, I strike back again. At the 125.699. Hamilton 3.3 seconds back. Raikkonen is following pace with the Mercedes, which is nice to see.
Brilliant lap. You're driving as well as I've ever seen. This is exactly what we need until the end.
So let's go a little bit further ahead. We're into lap 11, the lap where I got my first planned pit stop. And my tyres are very, very worn. Hamilton's still only about 3.3 seconds behind. Alonso's pushing hard. You got much better rubber than I do. They don't seem to be suffering much of anything at all. So again, I haven't got the fastest car, and I'm gonna have to go with strategy in order to remain in first place. A bit wide. Alonso sneaks on the inside. No point in holding him up any longer.
We're gaining on the car ahead in sector 2. Sector 2.
And there you go, Alonso passed me just before I entered the pit. We still have, of course, DRS probably down the straight. And I'm going to have fresh rubber. Should give me the advantage I need to get back out ahead of him when he finally makes his pit stop. And also, Alonso is still using high mix pretty much right from the start and still at this moment in time. So he's burning a lot of fuel. I've been just basically on standard all the way through. So my, in terms of fuel strategy, I'm always usually pretty conservative.
He's running full revs, maximum power.
Got a little bit cleaner, but not much. Go brake a bit too late, go over the curb.
Our calculations estimate that the rest will be pitting within the next 5 laps.
A bit on the inside, being a bit nervous. So close to the others. Because I need to get past these guys as quickly as possible. Easy pass on the rest there. Back is next. I got a better exit, but he's got better acceleration and top speed.
You're on the slower tyre, but you're maintaining the gap
See
of the
him.
car
Ooh,
ahead,
ran
so
into
we're very
the
happy.
McLaren.
This is good.
So that was very nice. Game doesn't tell me to hand it back. So I keep the position. This is not something I would do in a league race. I would have handed it back. But the eye can be giant arseholes as well, so I pretty much have an attitude as far as career goes to go. Game doesn't punish it. I don't tend to really give it back. Give it back. So Perez, so there has to be a button that I hit. Since Perez is ahead of me. Better acceleration and grip, of course, through the sector. Good at a lot of curves. This pass done. Gives some space.
Kimmy is 5 places
Somehow
ahead of you
Perez
at the
goes
moment.
wide regardless. And he takes the pass. Runner goes wide and Button actually slipped by, so he's now 9th. So here's the next group. With Rosberg at the back of it. And I set a final purple lap time, having actually a clean lap forward change. 1:24.424.
We believe the
So
car ahead is
I'm
running
going
standard
quicker than
red,
anybody,
standard
which is
red.
of course what I need to do. Better acceleration. I'm next to Rosberg. Brake up at the same time, but I can carry a bit more speed into the corner. And it's
Kimmy is
pass
4
done.
places
Sebastian Vettel is next up. And only 6th place, which is probably a disappointing position for him to be in at the moment. So the purple first sector, even with these guys. Take a look. On the outside, not going to work. Cut back in. And just about like the chicane. Slide into 6th place. Massa is now up next. Doesn't do much. Massa's still good on the brakes. And Massa goes wide now.
You're 2 places down on Kimmy.
Seemed a bit odd in that corner. See that sometime as well. So I'm now into 5th place. That will be a purple lap time. Yep, a 1:25.340. So a few more people pit.
Watch out for cars exiting
Rubber
the
stays out. Hamilton stays out. I'm into 3rd now. So I think Hamilton stays out. Seems like it. That's there is Mark Webber. 5 laps till the pit stop. Catching everybody on track still.
That's Webber, go for the
So the
overtake.
strategy at the moment seems to work. Too far back, have to brake hard because they're braking a little bit earlier than me. Well, like of course there's not enough time to do anything there. Hamilton is ahead of Webber, struggling even more. Webber wants to get past Englishman as well. 3 wide, 3 wide. Webber gives up. I stick it in. And Hamilton again goes wide. If you just, even if a given space, they still go wide there. As you can see, I wasn't on the racing line. Hamilton goes wide. And Webber peels off into the pit lane, and Hamilton will as well. So we can see how it slots out after the pit stops. And surely Alonso would be back.
Webber's got the prime tyre fitted to the car. Looks like he'll stay out for a longer period during his next stint.
Thank you. So, a little bit further out now, lap 20, 2.4 seconds. Alonso is catching me, he's on the opposite tyres and still high mixing it. There you go, you can just see him in the mirror on the right side. He's coming in fast, and Raikkonen has managed to secure 3rd place. And he's pretty much 11 seconds back. I was struggling with pace a little bit on this second set of tyres, especially after a few laps. This is my 8th lap, 9th lap now on this set. So you can see how much he caught from 2.4 to 1.8. These first 2 sectors, they are flying, and I am sluggish in that sense. I went for a high downforce setup, so naturally I would be slower down the straights, but the gearing was also not really long since I almost never really reached 7th gear in standard
You have a
mode.
2-second gap to the car behind. We need to keep it clean so he doesn't get a chance to overtake.
Not even down the home straight. Pretty soon I'm gonna have a Ferrari full on in my mirrors. And the game begins again. Just to hold him off for 10 laps. Following the pit stop, so 21 laps now. A little bit later on then. He's already behind me with a Marussia. Shields Bianchi. Give me a bit of DRS there for a change. One activation point, 2 DRS zones right after another, so Alonso's still quick. Cameron, 11 seconds. He's got up to me, and now let's see what Raikkonen can do if he actually, or how I am compared to Raikkonen. So, lap 26. So the damages, of course, Alonso's right there with me. 4.2 seconds, so Raikkonen is flying at the moment. Good time on me. There's a back marker, a couple of back markers actually, ahead of me. So moving ahead to lap 27. 28 now, of course. Let's see what the damage is. Of course, it's going to get closer and closer. Alonso looks on the outside. Arrives too late, still almost makes
Ferrari
it.
are getting ready
That
for
tells
a pit
me a bit.
stop. Looks like it's going to be Alonso.
4.9. So Raikkonen is still a bit of ways. I outbrake myself a little bit. Managed to cut back just in time to make sure I cover off Alonso. And we run up the hill once more. Only a couple more laps to go. So my pit stop. 4 seconds, so Raikkonen gained 9/10 second, almost a second in that first sector on me, and Alonso battling it out here. So I'm seriously lacking pace on this set of on this set of tyres. But I'm doing what I have to do, holding that first place until I pit. So Raikkonen 1.5 seconds only away now from the group, so we will soon. Well, sooner rather than later, be right on our tail.
We're looking at the wear levels of your tyres, and they're heavily worn.
So even my engineer thinks my tyres are complete shit at this point.
Pit in this lap. Come into the pit to the end of this lap.
Engineer. I'll tell you that, my tyres are struggling. Almost starts to look like Alonso's struggling as well. So he might be beating this lap as well, maybe a few laps later or something, I don't know. Raikkonen is really caught up to us now, and surely Webber is not too far off from that fight as well. Yeah, yes, he is half a second away from Alonso. It's another car definitely close by, so that's probably Webber there in fourth. Lost the car almost there. Let's switch down to second just to keep it on track, and still I'm actually gaining on Alonso, so he's suffering from tyres, so he might stop as well this lap.
The car behind is only a second down on you. 1 second.
Turning in is so difficult now. Let's go a bit wide again. I break myself, losing the car, struggling. The front left, as you can see on the indicator, it's beat red is gone. It needs to be replaced. I'm checking what he is. He is definitely on the options there. I was curious for a moment, so that's why I broke it off for a second. So another fresh, brand new set of prime tyres on my car. Alonso behind me again. On what the tyres he is, I cannot see.
Slower traffic ahead. Be careful when overtaking. They should let you through.
Can't make it out from the mirrors what tyres he's on, but he's right behind me still. Of course, let's see how much I've lost compared to Raikkonen and Webber, and Webber has actually passed Raikkonen as well, probably down the straight. Didn't see that happen, of course I was right in the pit lane. And he's pushing, he's pushing, he wants to get past. Might be on options again. How feisty he's being right up the box. This car tires, of course, offer more grips when you get out on track for sure. But I simply couldn't make them can't make them last long enough. Make it a viable strategy to run them again. There you go. There's a bit of luck for me. I pass Shosbeek just before the corner. Alonso tries to overtake him, but he goes wide and off track.
Within the next few laps.
And that gives me a bit of breathing space and just puts him outside my DRS zone, which I'm quite happy with. So the back markers helping me out a little bit here. 11 seconds. Kimi, 11.9 to be more exact, so you could more say it's 12 seconds. And there's a group of back markers adding me 4 cars. That's Williams. Maldonado there, 18th. Leaves room for me on the outside. I sneak by. And he hasn't really helped me up. What's the gap to Alonso now? 33, keep that in mind. 3.7 seconds.
Have to move over and let you pass.
So that little mistake on the back marker with Peak. It's cost him quite a bit. We have a lot of back markers here. They're going out of the way in a bit annoying places, but making it work, more or less. To get my tyres dirty to do so. So lap 34. Let's see what we have now. Still the same. 3.1. By the looks of it. Alonso actually goes quicker than me. He didn't seem to be held by that little pack of back markers at all. Running up the hill now. Let's see what that gap is. 3.1, managing it so at the moment. 11 seconds to Raikkonen, so only now with some fresh air I can start thinking about closing down that gap, which I definitely need to do. I don't have any hope of winning the race, because Webber, of course, is still ahead of my teammate Kimi. Second, there you go. Because I'm working on the gap for sure. They just took a huge chunk, over a second and a half almost, out of Kimi Raikkonen there. So doing a good job at that. Bit unstable on the exit. Not too bad. Still improved the fastest lap. 1:22.540 and 8.3 seconds. So a further second. So likely Raikkonen losing as much to back markers. I see another blue dot appearing in the screen. So he's probably being slowed down a bit by them. Not all of it. There's actually quite a bit of room there now. So yeah, maybe he's just losing pace for some reason. Slightly ahead now. What, 36? You can see the gap visually closer now on the mini-map. There's confirmation, only 3 seconds left. Alonso is much further down, 11 seconds, so he had a moment somewhere, at some point. Making the gap quite large very shortly. There we go, 11.1. I'm not complaining that. 2.1 seconds, Kimi is probably going to pit sooner rather than later. Score, we've got around 15 laps to go to the next one. Going a bit wide, letting it roll if that happens. Try to bring it back onto tarmac. Third, there is Kimi. 1.6 seconds. Nope, here we go, he gets wide. I sort of missed my braking point to avoid the Marouche at the same time. So, maybe not the fairest way to pass my teammate. The game seems to think nothing of it. When it comes to single player and AI having a bit more lax, and something like that tends to happen. You can be pretty damn aggressive with bumping enemies when always seeming to get away with it. If it was a league race, of course, I would have let them back by or just not even bother trying to overtake them. So, Webber has split it, now into lap 40. And Alonso is now in second place again, jeez. Needs some 12 odd seconds behind me now. 14 seconds now in lap 43, and Webber is gaining rapidly on the Ferrari driver. This could be an advantage for me. Lap 48. Few more laps to go until I'll make my final pit stop. 16 seconds is the gap. And I think this is the point where Alonso goes into the pit lane. Keep your eye on the mini-map. Yes, there is a car in the pit lane. Webber has just slotted into second place. Kimi goes past now.
To Alonso's car. He's going for a longer stint.
There you go. You can see it now on the timing screen. So now I'm sort of thinking, alright, do I need to alter my strategy? Do I need to come in sooner? Like, no, I definitely don't want to come in sooner. These tyres already look pretty shot, as you can see on the indicator on the right side. And the air point with the tyre wear being as high as it is for me. Just the thing I can do is stick to my existing strategy and hope for the best. But with the Webber now unleashed, of course, he's flying. Respectively. There you go, Alonso's flying even far faster. Fastest lap for him. The gap started with around 17 seconds. Lap 50 now, 2 more to go, and it's down to 13 seconds. So, there you go, lap 51. It is definitely a critical point, like, do I stay out? Do I go in? It's within the safety window, relatively speaking. 11 seconds is the gap. I take the risk and stay out. I think at this point, you can see it on the minimap now, dot behind the orange one on the track, that's Alonso. I think I have enough of a margin, because it's crucial for me, definitely crucial to come out ahead of Fernando. Or we'll be struggling to get past him. The whole race was any indication of that. And the tyres are definitely shot now. Alonso cut the corner massively while Alonso sets another fastest lap. Improving it by a few hundredths of a second. Shoot down to second, and I still run wide. Insanity how when they go, how badly they go. Not too bad, just keeping the fourth, decent pace. There you go, look at this. Down to second. Why did we go down to first just to keep it sort of on the track? Just barely only dare to touch the brakes then. So, the moment of truth. Final pit stop. Another fresh set of primes are waiting for me. Hope everything goes well, no damage to the car of course.
Go, exit now. Use curves on exit.
Not really a deal or die track. There's Raikkonen coming in hot, passing me right about now. There he goes on the left. And Alonso's right on his tail. But there's enough room. And I keep my position relative to Alonso. I'm now in third place, so job done.
Be aware, we think the car behind is trying to save
Interesting
fuel.
news there is Alonso still trying to save fuel. I think, if I remember correctly, he pretty much stayed in high mix for like until lap
we believe you're
22.
in a much better position with regards to
So
tyre life. You can
quite
attack
long.
the car ahead, use your advantage. You're just ahead of Alonso. Push it, don't let him catch you.
It's not going well at the moment, so I'm already caught up to him. I'm just probably gonna have to wait for it to pass on the straights with DRS. I have to slow down actually before hitting into him. As you'll see here, I can easily make it in third on this stretch rubber, but he switched down in second. Get the DRS, of course. I did have a DRS failure during this race, but I only have it a few times and mostly on back markers. There's Alonso. He was pretty close to me, but now he's stuck behind the Lotus of my teammate. There you go. Which is actually great for me. The longer, Kimi can keep him behind, and the more of a margin they were able to give me. Like last time, where the back marker helped me, this time it's my teammate that helps me by holding him behind, because there's not much opportunity to overtake the rest of this lap. So we get to the straight again. The gap growing quite rapidly, especially through this sector. Of course, fresh rubber makes a huge difference. It's a purple lap time, 5.3 is ahead. The gap to Webber ahead of me. Seems to be wrapped up in traffic at the moment. And I think he's actually in the pit lane at the moment. We'll find out. Yes, that was Mark Webber who went to the pit lane, his final pit stop. Option tyres for the Lotus, and Kimi is also in the box, which means that Alonso is free now again.
That was the fastest lap of the race.
I smashed the fastest lap down to 1:21.045. So now, of course, we have a lot of back markers ahead of me. Navigating them is always a bit of a challenge. To go a little bit aggressive on it, because I don't, of course, want to lose much time to these guys relative to Alonso though. So lap 59, to the final stages. How does the gap look? It's up to 12 seconds now. So it seems I can outpace now Ferrari of Alonso. Pretty much has to slow down or else runs out of fuel. Someone know it off, it's Jules Bianchi. Take a little bit of avoiding action, but makes a safe entry back on track. So, lap 65. A couple of laps to go. It's Felipe Massa now. It's the yield the blue flags. He's in 8th at the moment. You can slow him behind me. Don't get DRS off him. Good too bad. Doesn't really matter. But look at the gap to Alonso. It's now 22 seconds. So you could see the white lights of little warning I got from the chicane. And then Hamilton makes a mistake. And he goes let me passed by anyway. It's on to the next one. It's the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel, and he outbrakes himself, goes wide, and Hamilton sneaks through and Massa sneaks through, so Vettel loses 2 positions in one corner, so it's not good for him. It is good for Hamilton in comparison to him, of course. It doesn't really matter to me. They're pretty far down, which is great news for me. Which means I can firmly extend my gap. So we're now on the final lap here in Hungary. Tyres look pretty bad. Hamilton has used me to extend his gap over Massa. reckon Massa has Vettel behind him. Not too far down as well. It's orange, but doesn't feel too bad, if I could say so. Didn't actually need the super time lap to defend my position. Good look at that. Alonso's pace is broken down completely. 27 seconds. That's the gap. And it's more of a margin than I was expecting. And it all happened again in the late stages of the race, when finally the pace of the car was better than the rest in that sense. Well, maybe not Mark Webber, but Mark Webber can't find his way past Alonso, it seems. Only one more turn ahead. Keeping it nice and steady. Running is a bit wide in line. Victory weaving. And there we go. 4th win in a row. Now win in Hungary. Can I make it another win in Spa? Could be difficult if it's gonna rain. There you go.
Great drive, great drive. You dominated the whole weekend. Pole and the race win. Fantastic.
And also got the fastest lap, it seems. No, Nico Rosberg. No, I do got the fastest lap. But not by much. So here we see the race results there. Pretty much know the top 6. Give me a good 4th place. Nico then in 5th. I passed Lewis, Felipe and Vettel. Jensen in 9th. Perez 10th. And then all the people who barely get any points. Most of them are 2 laps down. And some of them are even 4 laps down, of course, which are the backmarker teams. As they are now even 5 laps down for Charles Pic. The 2 DNFs this race. Nico didn't make the finish line, as did the Dutch Caterham drivers. So I was a bit curious to see my start of the race. That's why you're seeing this replay now. Pretty be when I make a start where I don't bump into anybody. And there you go. That's it, get better traction out of the corner from Alonso. And this is it. This is how I got into 1st place, or how I kept 1st place pretty much after that. Somewhat slow start. So, how do the standings look?
Amazing, amazing win. That's 4 wins in a row. Really great
Quite
driving.
secure. So basically 58 points ahead now of Lewis Hamilton, who's made it into 2nd place now. So that's basically 2 race wins ahead of him, and a little bit more as well. So I can have some terrible races. I hope not, of course, but I can have some terrible ones if need be. Sebastian Vettel holds on the 3rd. Alonso catches up again. 4th place. So there are only 5 points between those 3. And it's Mark Webber with a bit of a gap, and then Kimi, who has Massa pretty close to him, and Nico is also not too far back as well. And there we see everybody else. Ricardo being the last man with a point, and everybody else. Also Lotus with a good result today actually creates a bit of a buffer in the constructors. 27 points, not too much, but looking good so far. And there you go. Time to celebrate. Prepare ourselves for another classic track next week, which is Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps. Bye bye.